Alright, here we are. We are going to work on this hat that you see in these pictures. I made it to match that big sweater, and that video is coming very soon. So we are going to loom knit today. So what you need is the 41 peg loom, and I'll link those in the description. There will be an affiliate link if you don't have them already, or you can go get them at Walmart. The different sizes make different size hats and socks and all of that. So what I'm doing here is called an E-wrap, and I will slow down and do it in the different direction here in a minute. This hat is going to be multicolored. You can choose any color yarn that you want when you're making this hat, and you can do it solid colored if you'd like, or you can change colors like I did on this one. This is very exciting because it matches that sweater, so I'm kind of making them a team. Now you're going to E-wrap twice around your loom. So you're just looping over, and it's like a cursive E. So no matter which way you turn it, you're going to go the same way all the way around every time. And this is going a little bit fast, but it's a very simple move, and once you get the hang of it, it will come right along. Now you've E-wrapped twice your last peg. You want to pull down your thread so it does not come off, and that is the very first peg that you have to loop over. Now you're going to pull that first loop over the second loop, basically the inside loop over the outside loop. Now the first couple are a little bit tough, but after you get that one done, it gets pretty easy. Okay, you see how this is going pretty quickly, and my camera is faced the wrong direction. I don't know why I did it on this. I didn't check it good enough when I set it up, so that's why this is crooked. But you can still see what I'm doing, and it will zoom in and get closer here in a minute. So you're going to E-wrap, and then you're pulling the inside loop over the outside loop. And this is the basic process for the entire hat, okay? So if you can accomplish this right here and stick with one color, you can make a hat on this loom. Most of the loom kits that I've ever seen come with a hook similar to this one, if not this exact one. There's soft handled ones, and this is a wooden handled one. So those usually come together in a kit. But you're looping under. It's just a little hook, kind of like an ice pick that's curved, and you loop under the inside hook and loop it over the outside hook. Then you press all of them back up against the middle, the inside, because that is now your inside loop. And you want them pressed down pretty good, so when you loop around again, you will not accidentally hook the wrong one over, because if you do, then you'll have a hole in your hat and it just won't work. And I just seem to be getting tangled up in this one. Let's see if moving the yarn will help. Okay, now we're going to E-wrap again. So, and the yarn, when it comes out from that peg, the next one is the one that you loop around. Now here, I'm going to show you that you can do just a few if you want at a time. I did start off, when I started doing this with the looms, I would do a few pegs at a time and then put the loop over, because you don't have to hold the entire loom and keep them all, you know, tight on there. And then you just keep going and do a few more and do those. So that makes it a little easier if you're having trouble looping the entire thing. You can just do a few and then pull the inside loop over the outside loop, because you're going to do the same process. And that first one on the very end is a little bit tougher than all the others, and that's why I started doing the whole loop, the whole loom at a time. And always make sure you press them to the inside. So here we go. E-looping again is what it's called, because it's a cursive E, is what it kind of looks like. And if you do this, you only have one tight stitch. Like this very first one is your tight one. You have to loop the inside loop over the outside loop, and that should be the only hard one of the whole bunch. And this is, I started this because I wanted to knit a hat, and I did not know how to knit. So this is a very good option for those of you that don't have the time to learn to knit, or you just don't have the energy to put into it, or a kiddo without the coordination to do it yet. They can learn on this loom. It is a very good substitute for knitting. I do like the larger chunky yarns, the bulky yarn on this a little bit better than the skinny yarn, but I still love my skinny yarn hats. So either way, whatever you use, no matter what kind of yarn, no matter what size it is, you do the same process. And here, we're gonna cut. So if you're brave and want to do multicolors, you just cut it about half the loom, about 6 inches maybe. And then you tie your next one on. And I did not do it here, but you kind of want to get it up to the loop, up to the peg, if you can. I didn't even try to here. I was just tying it together. If you want, you can also do the Russian join that I show you in another video. I will link that in the description. I'm not sure how to put it on the screen yet. That's something I've got to learn. So you can join that whichever way that you use that makes it easiest. So I just cut it and keep going and tie it on. Now we're going to E-wrap. This is where you can really see the E-wrap pretty good. And this is how I usually hold it when I'm doing it, because of the angle. It just makes it simpler to loop all the way around. So if you need help with that, just slow that part of the video down and you'll catch on to that pretty quick. Now once again, we're going to go with that first one where the yarn is coming out and do that one first. Then you can let go of your string and you don't have to hold it the whole time. That's the benefit of doing the whole thing. You don't have but one tight stitch and you can let go. So once you get the hang of this, it's a pretty simple process. You just repeat, repeat, repeat. I love loom knitting and I have all the different sizes. I have not made anything bigger than a hat or a scarf. But I do have one loom, I think, maybe two, that's made to make other things. Like a blanket. And they're different shapes, so. But this is about the right time to be making hats for the winter. So I thought it was kind of fitting to do this one. And of course it matches my sweater. I can't wait to get that video done. I've got all the video making done. I just have to do the editing and the voiceover. And I sure hope you cannot hear the music on the TV right now, because I came in the bedroom and turned the air conditioner on so it would drown out the TV, but I can still hear it pretty clearly. Which is why I don't record straight normally. So here we go with E-wrapping again. Now this hat is going to have a band on the bottom, which is just a double layer of the knitting. So we're going to do our E-wrap all the way around until we're ready to make our band. I missed one there. I always try to make sure I go all the way to the peg. And here we are, going right along in the next row. And this is a real loose fitting hat. And I just like how it's loose and stretchy, kind of. You'll see it, well, you saw it in the very beginning picture, but you'll see it again in the end. How it's kind of stretchy and loose. Now I may do something on the smaller loom and show you the child's hat afterwards. I'll have to check and see if I did a video of that already. And if not, I can do a smaller loom and show you the different things you can make. I really love working with these looms, and sometimes I forget that because I have so many different projects going. And there's another row. It's getting longer and longer. I'm about to be speeding this up, so if y'all see me going 90 to nothing here in a second, it is because I'm just going to speed up some of this process. This was 51 minutes, and I did not record all of it, so I try to, you know, think of that when y'all are watching, because you're not going to watch me do the whole thing. And this is just another color going on. I did not show the process of tying on the new color, but you just do it the same way on each one. I think I'm in the mood for loom knitting. Yeah, when you've got your tails back there, make sure you don't loop your tail around, because then you won't have, you know, a continued stitch. You'll have some holes. That's the one thing with the changing colors, is make sure you don't get your tail in there. I'm really excited for where this channel is headed. I absolutely love teaching crafts, and I love that I can reach more people with YouTube. And I am trying to grow my channel. I'm trying to do more what's the word? Videos that go along with what my channel is. So the crafting and the art and all of that. I also have a stick coming up. Come on. A stick that I'm carving, a walking stick, and I'll be doing that video as soon as I finish that stick. I've got some leather work coming up soon, which I'll be doing that. I try to do what you call evergreen videos mostly, because I want them to be relevant. That's the word. I want them to be relevant to the craft world, not just I've done a few just to get attention on the shorts, but I like my longer videos to be relevant. So if you're into crafting, that's what I'm doing. And here we're going to speed it up. I could probably just cut this out, but this just shows you, you know, it's just repetitive. And we're back to green again. So I also want to tell y'all about my links in the description. I have a Redbubble store where you can get gear with different art things that I've done on it. And if you're wondering about digital art, I'm not the teacher. Not for that, not yet. I can show you what I've done, but I can't teach it. I'm still learning digital art, so that will be quite a ways. I may take some classes soon, but we'll see about that. So y'all just keep looming your hat, and we're almost ready. I think it's another couple colors. I'm gonna whiz through this real fast. I had to go sit on the couch, and you really can't see it that great. I'm sorry about that angle. But my little puppy does make an appearance here in a second. She just wants a treat. Now this does take quite a few hours. It is not a 30-minute project. It does take quite a bit of time. So don't get discouraged if your hat is not over in 30 minutes or an hour. This was several hours work, and I finished it the second day, so sometimes I have to split it up. Now here is the important part where I slowed back down. You're making your band. Now if you want a band on your hat, you take the very bottom loop and you loop it up over the peg. Now all you have to do here is align those lines there and make sure they're going straight. I will get better in focus in just a second. Be patient. It's terrible. You can't even see what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. Okay. And it scoots over. Let's see. I am very sorry about this angle because all you see is my hand. That's awful. Okay. There's the loops. We're looping it over and lining up the lines of each row. If it's a little off by one or so, if you get it on the wrong loop and you're doing it one to the side, it's only going to make it have a little twist to it. Okay, now you can finally see what I'm doing. You want those bottom two to go over the peg. And you're going to do that all the way around. Now also I had to pull all the tails through to the outside because you don't want the tails just jabbed up in the inside of the railing. Railing? No, it's not a railing. You don't want them inside that brim of your hat. It's not a brim either. I'm having a word malfunction here, y'all. Now I'm going around again with the E-looping. I think I need to redo some of this so you can see it better. And there's Miss Daisy. She's making her appearance. She had to come get a treat. They're just little tiny training treats. We had to give one to Bella, who is camera shy. And there's another one for Daisy. She got extra because the camera was on her. She loves her snacks. Now, let's see if I get this better in view. I think I do, right here. Since you have looped the two of the bottom part of your hat around, you want to loop 2 over 1. So you get these bottom 2 and treat them as if it's one piece of yarn. I'm not sure why this camera did this, but I hope you can see enough and get the idea of what I'm doing here. What happened was my camera on my phone was horizontal, but it didn't change apparently when I set it up. And it did it several times this day. But you're putting those 2 over that 1. There you go, you can finally see it a little bit. And this is how you make the part of the hat that's doubled that goes around your ears. Yeah. And then once you finish this little part, you're just going to go back to all the same thing, the E-wrapping and looping over. Just make sure you do each one all the way around and you're good to go. Now also, if you are doing it the way I do here with my thumb, pushing it down, make sure you put some lotion on your hands after, because this yarn will dry out the skin on your fingers. It really does. After you've done this for a while, you'll notice that it does that. I guess any yarn craft would do that though. And this is the tiniest little thinnest thread here. I love this yarn, but it really didn't, I did put it in the sweater. That's why I used it. But it really doesn't go with the thicker yarns. But it looks good overall, so I like it. It's just not a typical thing you would use. I'm going to have to double check my camera next time. But basically we are back to what you're going to do for the rest of the hat. And we're going to tie in a new color. And right here I'm going to show you how you get it up close to the peg. And it just continues with the new color instead of having your lines be different. So, like your lines would be even when you change colors if you're right up next to that peg. And then you'll change colors at the same spot on every color. So here we go with some emerald. This is your E-wrap. And here are the colors that I'm trying to match. Similar, I'm using some of the same colors. And here we are with the finished hat. Those are all the different colors I use. Not exactly finished, but it's getting really close. So you wrap that yarn that you finished with. You wrap it all the way around your circle about twice, maybe 1.5. And then you cut it off. And here we are going to take it off the loom. Now this part is very particular. You want to pull under your loop that's there. Let's see if I can get this on the start. You pull your thread across the next peg and you loop under your loop that's on the peg, and you pull that yarn through that loop and you pull it straight out. Mine was quite long. I think it was 2 wraps. I think you're supposed to have a 1.5 wraps. Now you put it under the loop that's on the peg and you pull that thread through that loop. And you can take these off as you go, as long as you make sure you don't take one off that you haven't done yet. Okay, so you pull that thread across the loop. Shh, no ma'am. And you loop that thread through the loop and you pull it straight out. No, shh. And you keep going, and here's the very end. Just a few left. Under and pull it through. All the way through. And then we have 2 more. You want to make sure you do all the way up to the last one. Because if you don't do one, it will start raveling. Nope. And then you can take those off. Your hat is finished, just about. You pull this tight. Don't pull it so tight you break your thread. Make sure you've got a good thread there on the end. And you just pull that tight and you won't have a hole in the top of your hat. And there is your very cute knitted hat. I love, love, love it. And now we're going to sew in the ends. So you need a yarn needle, and I'll get it up close on this so you can see how I sew these ends in. You want to make sure you get in between the fibers of the different yarn. So you try to stay in the same color when you have different colors, but like multiple pieces of that yarn, you want to get your yarn through the fibers. And you'll never have tails sticking out. This one's a little easier because you're right on the top of the hat. I'm going to up close on some of these others as well, so you can see how you get into the fibers. And this is all on the inside. Right here, I always try to do it on the inside of a project. That way it's not visible if you do get on the wrong color. You're going to go through the fibers of these pieces and through those stitches and you want to make a few passes up and down and across and over, whichever direction you go. It really doesn't matter. Just pull it where there's still stretch. Make sure you keep the stretch to it. There, we're going to go through some more fibers there. More stitches, and twist your needle a little if it won't come through easily. And you can't even tell. You can't tell that it's a different thread or anything like that once you have it finished. Just make sure you don't cut your hat. Make sure you get that. Okay, here's another one. We're going to do the next color, and I'm going to show you up close how to get through those fibers. You want to go through very important to get through the different threads. That way you're not just sticking it through the stitches, and it will stay a lot better. And twisting your needle like that usually makes it go a little bit easier. I know this is tedious, but it's part of yarn crafting. So there we are. And you get all the rest of those tails and you're done with your hat. I absolutely love this hat. It is so cute, and it matches my sweater. I love it, y'all. I cannot wait for you to make a hat this year. Make one for winter, and you'll love it. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a really great day. Bye-bye.